Hello and thank you for tuning into this edition of News Today. Without delay, let's have a look at the headlines first. Judiciary is considered as the guardian of our democracy, says Prime Minister. Telecommunications Administration of Digital Bharat Nidhi Rules 2024 notified. Department of Telecommunication notified draft rules for protection of critical telecom infrastructure. Researchers studied mitochondrial dynamics to treat Parkinson's disease. Recent study found faster upward growth of cities leading to high-rise structures. Let us begin with the very first news. In a recent address at the National Conference of District Judiciary held as part of the 75th year celebrations of the Supreme Court of India, the Prime Minister emphasized the vital role of the judiciary as guardian of democracy in India. He highlighted how the judiciary has consistently upheld the principles of justice, equality, and freedom, ensuring that the democratic fabric of the nation remains intact. The Indian Constitution provides several provisions that empower the judiciary to safeguard democracy. Article 13 implicitly lays the foundation for judicial review, enabling the Supreme Court to strike down laws that are in conflict with the Constitution. Articles 32 and 226 further empowers the Supreme Court and High Courts, respectively, to issue writs for the enforcement of the fundamental rights. The judiciary has played a crucial role in shaping the democratic landscape of India through landmark judgments. The Keshavanand Bharati Shripad Galvaru versus State of Kerala 1973 is a prime example, where the Supreme Court formulated the doctrine of the basic structure of the Constitution. This doctrine placed limitations on the amending powers of the Parliament, ensuring that the core principles of the Constitution remain inviolable. Another significant case was Indira Gandhi versus Raj Narayan in 1975, where the Supreme Court upheld the essence of democracy, that is, free and fair elections. Similarly, in the S.R. Bomai versus Union of India case in 1994, the court restricted the arbitrary dismissal of state governments under the Article 356. More recently, the judiciary continued its role as the guardian of democracy in the ADR versus UOI case of 2024. By declaring the electoral bond scheme unconstitutional, the Supreme Court upheld transparency in political funding, thereby strengthening democratic accountability. However, the judiciary faces several challenges in fulfilling its role as the guardian of democracy. Issues such as a low judge population ratio, the pendency of cases, concerns over judicial activism or overreach, the threat of contempt of court, and the instances of corruption within the judiciary pose significant hurdles. To address these challenges, the 245th Law Commission report suggests several measures, including the appointment of judges on a priority basis, the establishment of special traffic courts to reduce the burden on regular courts, periodic needs assessment for the judiciary, and the promotion of alternative dispute resolution methods. Moving ahead, the recently notified Telecommunications Administration of Digital Bharat Nidhi Rules 2024 mark a significant step towards bridging the digital divide in India. These rules, issued by the Department of Telecommunication, are set to operationalize the Digital Bharat Nidhi. Digital Bharat Nidhi is a fund established under the Telecommunications Act 2023. Its primary aim is to fund telecom schemes in underserved remote and rural areas, ensuring that affordable digital services reach every corner of the country. The Digital Bharat Nidhi replaces the earlier Universal Service Obligation Fund, which was created under the Indian Telegraph Act of 1885. The USOF was a non-lapsable pool of funds generated through a universal access levy, charged at 5% of the adjusted gross revenue of telecom licenses. Key highlights of the new rules include specific criteria for undertaking schemes and projects under the DBN. These projects are focused on provisioning telecom services in underserved rural, remote, and even urban areas. They also aim to introduce next-generation telecom technologies, support startups, and promote sustainable and green technologies. Another significant aspect of the rules is the sharing of telecom networks established under the DBN. To promote transparency and fairness, the rules mandate that the networks and services funded by the DBN be shared on an open and non-discriminatory basis. The process of fund allocation under the DBN is designed to be competitive and innovative. Funds will be allocated through a bidding process to promote and support telecommunication services in underserved areas. Additionally, a selection by application process will be employed to encourage research and development of new or emerging telecom technologies. This could involve co-funding, viability gap funding, and other mechanisms to support cutting-edge innovations in the telecom sector. In conclusion, the Telecommunications Administration of Digital Bharat Nidhi Rules 2024 are a forward-looking framework designed to empower India's telecom sector. In our next news, the Department of Telecommunications has recently notified the draft rules for the protection of critical telecom infrastructure, as well as the Telecommunications Telecom Cybersecurity Rules 2024 under the Telecommunications Act 2023. Critical telecommunication infrastructure refers to any part of a telecommunication network or part thereof, designated by the central government, disruption of which shall have debilitating impact on national security, economy, public health, or safety. However, these infrastructure face significant threats that range from cyber attacks and espionage, as cyber threats like targeted malware, ransomware, and distributed denial of service attacks are particularly concerning. Additionally, the physical security of these infrastructure is at risk from terrorist activities and other forms of vandalism, while natural disasters pose an ever-present danger. The reliance on foreign hardware and software for telecommunication networks introduces supply chain vulnerabilities, which are further exacerbated by geopolitical tensions. This overdependence raises concerns about potential backdoors in equipment. Moreover, the rapid evolution of technology, including the rollout of 5G networks and the increasing interconnectivity brought about by the Internet of Things. The draft rules outline several key obligations for telecom entities to ensure the security and integrity of CTI. These include maintaining robust security measures, keeping detailed records of the supply chain for equipment used in CTI, and conducting periodic vulnerability assessments to identify and mitigate potential risks. Upgrading any part of the CTI will now require certification from the central government or an authorized body. In addition to these measures, the draft rules on telecom cybersecurity mandate that each telecom entity adopts a comprehensive telecom cybersecurity policy. This policy must encompass security safeguards, risk management approaches, risk assessment and identification, as well as forensic analysis of any security incidents that occur. By implementing these rules, the DOT aims to create a resilient and secure telecommunication infrastructure that can withstand the evolving threats posed by physical and cyber challenges. In our next news, recent breakthroughs in Parkinson's disease research have uncovered a promising new approach that could revolutionize treatment by targeting the cell's powerhouse, mitochondria. Parkinson's disease is a neurodegenerative disease caused by the death of the brain cells. The root of the problem lies in the presence of environmental toxins and toxic proteins, which cause damage to mitochondria. One such example is manganese-induced Parkinsonism, where exposure to manganese leads to mitochondrial dysfunction and subsequently the death of brain cells. Researchers have identified a key protein involved in this process, dynamin-related protein 1 or DRP1. DRP1 is naturally abundant in cells and plays a vital role in mitochondrial division. When mitochondria divide, they become smaller and more mobile, which is crucial for maintaining cellular quality control. However, excessive activity of DRP1 can lead to too much division, causing the mitochondria to become overly fragmented and impaired in their function. Understanding the importance of mitochondria in this context requires a deeper look at their role in the cell. Mitochondria are membrane-bound organelles responsible for generating most of the cell's energy in the form of ATP or adenosine triphosphate through aerobic respiration. They also contain their own genetic material known as mitochondrial DNA or mtDNA, which is passed down exclusively from the mother. This unique genetic material is not only crucial for energy production but also for tracing genetic lines. Mitochondrial diseases arise from genetic mutations in either mtDNA or nuclear DNA. These diseases are maternally inherited, meaning they are passed from mother to child. One of the groundbreaking developments in this field is mitochondrial replacement therapy, a technique designed to prevent the transmission of mitochondrial diseases from mother to child, offering a potential solution for families affected by these conditions. In conclusion, the study of mitochondrial dynamics offers a promising avenue for treating Parkinson's disease. Moving ahead, a recent study has highlighted the rapid upward growth of cities, leading to an increase in high-rise structures. While these taller buildings are often seen as a practical solution to accommodate more people within limited urban spaces, They bring significant challenges to existing infrastructure and the local climate. If we talk about the height of the buildings, then the permissible height is determined by floor area ratio. It is the ratio of the combined covered area, that is the plinth area of all floors, by the total plot area. Furthermore, these regulations are provided by the Model Building Bylaws 2016. The drive toward upward growth is largely fueled by economic development, as high-rise buildings serve as a mixed-use structure that combine residential, commercial, and office spaces. This vertical expansion is also a response to the global rise in urban population, which has surged by approximately 2 billion people between 1990 and 2020. Advancement in construction technology, such as the development of elevators, centralized heating and cooling systems, and designs that can withstand high-speed winds, have further enabled cities to grow taller. However, the rapid proliferation of high-rise buildings presents several challenges. The increased population density in these vertical communities places a greater demand on public resources and energy, which can strain infrastructure and potentially lower the quality of life for residents. Additionally, the concentration of tall buildings contribute to the urban heat island effect, a phenomenon that causes localized heating and alters temperatures, rainfall patterns, and wind speeds within cities. The economic viability of constructing high-rise buildings also poses a challenge. Building codes require these structures to be disaster resilient, which raises construction costs and often make these buildings affordable only to higher income groups. Moreover, high-rise buildings can complicate disaster relief efforts, solid waste management, and other essential municipal services. In conclusion, the study underscores the importance of careful urban planning to address these challenges while balancing the benefits of vertical growth in cities. As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. India's External Affairs Minister recently flagged India's special China problem over the world's general China problem. He stressed on the careful examination of the investments from China. One of India's outstanding issues with China includes border disputes, that are lack of consensus on line of actual control, incursions in Ladakh, etc. The centre has reduced the windfall tax on domestically produced crude oil. A windfall tax is a tax imposed by governments on certain industries that experience significantly above average profits due to favourable economic conditions. Recently, India Post Payment Bank marked its 7th Foundation Day. India Post Payment Bank is established under the Department of Post, Ministry of Communication, with 100% equity owned by the Government of India. Supreme Court criticized the Union Ministry of Ayush for its notification requesting state licensing authorities not to take action under Rule 170 of the Drugs and Cosmetics Rule 1945. Rule 170 governs the manufacture, storage, and sale of medicines in the country, specifically for controlling inappropriate advertisements of Ayurvedic Siddha and Unani medicines. Recently, man-eating wolf attack in Bharat, UP has put around 35 villages on high alert. An Operation Bhediya has been launched by the forest officials to capture wolves. India has 2 species of wolves, Indian wolf and Himalayan wolf or Tibetan wolf. The government has implemented various interim measures for the LGBTQIA+ community. The centre announced the LGBTQIA+ couples and partners in queer relationships will now be considered part of the same household for ration cards. Ministry of Women and Child Development has launched 7th Rashtriya Poshan Mah 2024. The focus is on comprehensively addressing malnutrition, which is a key component of Mission Poshan 2.0. Recently, scientists have discovered a new target for cancer treatment which is used by cancer cells to regulate DNA repair during cell division. Cancer cells use the enzyme TDP1 to repair DNA damage caused by chemotherapy drugs like camptothecin, leading to treatment resistance. CBI has recently conducted polygraph test in connection with the rape of a resident doctor at the RG Kar Medical College in Kolkata. It is one of the deception detection tests which also includes narco-analysis and brain mapping. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Knowledge. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solution to the quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description below.